take a seat, I would like to introduce you to our next speaker, Jeffrey Lee, Technical Product Marketing Manager, Boomi. One platform to rule them all, eh? When it comes to managing your data and AI tools, integration is everything. So I would love to welcome Jeffrey Lee from Boomi, who's going to be talking more about the session. Thank you.
Okay, thanks. Hi, everyone. My name is Jeffrey Lee. I'm a data practitioner turned marketing architect turned product marketer. So I'm here today with Boomi supporting the Boomi data integration product, formerly known as Rivery. So last year, AI agents made headlines, right? And this year, on top of that, we're hearing agentic AI. So just by a show of hands, who's been kind of discussing that internally, like talking about it, right? That's quite a few of us. And us here as data professionals today, we're linked to it, whether we like it or not, because it all comes back full circle to data because it's powered by data. So today, I have the pleasure of sharing with you how to take advantage of this opportunity, how to shore up high-quality agents, and ultimately deliver on that outsized ROI that we're all chasing after, okay? Oh, great. So agenda for today, so you know what you're getting yourselves into, all right? So I'm going to talk about data ROI, how we generally define that, what the data product value means. We're going to talk about minimizing data TCO to drive that investment spend down, okay? And then we're going to shift our focus and look at something cool and consider new ways that we can create more value with data using our data products and agentic agentic AI. So the reality today is that organizations have changed. Ever since they found the importance of becoming more data-driven, our data teams have to be much more, I guess you could say, agile about it, because what used to be aspirational turned into a bit more of an expectation, right? And so it's a given these days that organizations have to be data-driven. And so with these growing technical challenges as data engineers, we have more data sources, we have different data types, and we have much larger data volumes and much higher refresh rates. We're no longer building for weekly or even daily cadences, right? We're building for pretty much near real-time data or hourly basis in order to stay competitive. And so with this, data teams are really buckling at the seams, right? They're looking to keep up, and they're reaching for solutions that are dependable, simple, easy to use, and ultimately effective at getting data into the right hands of our stakeholders. And so AI is supposed to be this like magic solution, right? But really, to handle this additional workload, it doesn't really work like that, because our data teams are coming in with more, actually creates more new requirements for us, because we're building for these AI solutions, and it has its own proprietary data, and it has its own proprietary accesses, right? So all in all, data teams have to do more and faster. And as if doing more faster wasn't enough, we have to have ROI to show for it. The business is asking us, what is the impact to the bottom line, right? And so here's a popular write-up from Tristan Handy, founder and CEO of DBT, and he cites that CFOs are looking into data budgets, and they're looking out for ways to save on both money and headcount. And so it's no wonder that our data teams now are managing and prioritizing their data portfolios based on ROI. Okay, so we went from doing more to doing more faster to doing more faster to ROI to show with ROI to show for it, right? And so this here is nothing new. I mean, everyone knows this data ROI formula. We have value on the left, cost on the right, but the question is like how? We all know that we want data ROI up, but like how do we do that? So I'm going to try and take this apart best as I can from right to left, okay? And so budgets these days, very sensible. there's not much you can save on headcount. There's not much you can save on software spend, right? We're operating with very lean data teams, with very lean data stacks. But what I want to draw your attention to is the one over in here in the middle, is poor data quality. Arguably the costliest of them all, because data that can't be trusted can't be used. And so really it's comprised of two things here, right? Where we have lost business growth from either no insights or worse yet, wrong insights. And as well as resourcing spent on remediating data quality in order to regain that stakeholder trust, right? And so on the left side here, a lot more simple. Value is driven from process automation. It's driven from business growth. So today, I'm going to talk about, how do we keep this right side up and this left side down and really minimize our data total cost of ownership. So a nice vehicle to leverage that value side and take it up, right, is leveraging automated data pipelines. So we're not talking about like automating just one vertical slice here, okay? We're talking about end-to-end automation from start to finish. And so fully automated data pipelines have these characteristics. They connect your data securely via managed connectors. They extract your data smartly with change data capture and handle API updates without breaking the pipeline, okay? They load data efficiently with auto-generated DDL to create those tables and fields within your data target. And they can also transform your data workloads should you require that. And lastly, it's not just about ingestion these days, right? They also provide activation support, such as reverse ETL and REST API calls. And so I want to stress again, not all data pipelines are created equal. So in talking about automated data pipelines, we often think about the modern data stack, right? And so just again, show of hands, like who uses it or who has heard of it? Yeah, exactly. Like if you take a look around, like I saw there were quite a handful of people. It's like it's not an unpopular approach, right? But for those of you who aren't familiar with the term, it's a data architecture in reference to combining multiple tools to construct data pipelines. Now, shared commonalities across these tools include that they're on the cloud. They're easy to use, right? They're typically usage-based billing models, and generally speaking, they run on SQL. But I ask you this today, is building a modern data stack still the answer? Right, this is a lot. Like I know it's small, I know you can't see it, you're really not supposed to see it. Yeah, it's a famous visual by Matt Turk. You've probably seen it floating around like LinkedIn or something like that. But it's a landscape of machine learning, artificial intelligence, and data, which he appropriately named MAD, right? MAD, that's the acronym for it. So if at any given point in time, any of us felt that the modern data stack was, just a little too much, right? Well then, multiply it by a couple of factors and throw in the AI and ML piece, and this is what you get. Like we need a better way to manage the modern data stack, but also the inevitable army of AI agents that come with it. So the modern data stack, it was popular up until around, let's say, 2022. And over the recent years, data teams have kind of realized that the overall cost is actually quite expensive. Like you're learning and maintaining multiple tools. It also introduces new challenges, such as integration between those tools, right? And also integration limitations that you have to work around in order to scale them into different use cases. And so going back to Tristan Handy again, as part of his modern data stack write-up, he kind of cites that buyer willingness to construct data stacks of 8 to 12 vendors have declined significantly. Companies today, they're looking for at least 2 to 4 actually as part of their core analytics infrastructure. So we went from midpoint, let's say 10 to like 3, and that we go from 2 handfuls to less than a handful today, right? That's something. And so to bring the point home, a quote from Sherry Lava from IDC Research here, and Sherry shares that the biggest inhibitor to integration and other automation tools is incompatibility with application integration, API management, B2B, ETL, You get the rest. The entire point here that I'm trying to drive is that there's a trend towards consolidation, right? And so with that, here's some food for thought for that value piece that we were just talking about, that consolidation might not just benefit the data stack in isolation, but also across a wider context from the many systems that produce data. And like, why is this relevant to us, right? It's relevant because, again, inextricably, data is linked to AI because of its need for data integration. And so I want to kind of address that other side again to wrap up on like the poor data quality side, the cost piece. And so here are some of the hazards and the common issues, and particular to us in our industry, we have like fragmented data. We have data silos and a lack of data governance, right? So if I were to wrap up the cost side here, I want to part with you like 3 strategies to kind of help control this poor data quality piece. It's securing sensitive data by adhering to local regulations and preserving data privacy across management layers. It's synchronizing your data across sources to avoid discrepancies across the business, and it's getting your data AI ready. And so as we prepare to optimize all that we do with AI, we also have to think about getting our data AI ready from a quality standpoint, okay? So we talked about data ROI. We took apart that formula. We talked about minimizing data total cost of ownership. And now we're getting to the good part, which is considering the new ways to create value with AI. So traditionally, the value of data products is split into 3 categories, right? It's analytical, operational, and customer-facing. Analytical, such as enabling the business via insights to increase your customer lifetime value. Operational, such as melding data together to connect patients and volunteers together, as you can see here in our American Cancer Society example. And customer-facing, such as Constellation Agency shoring up marketing intelligence for their top brand clients to decrease customer acquisition costs. So these categories came about as part of the digital transformation age, right? Where a lot of organizations were shifting to becoming more data-driven, adopting SaaS, and moving away from gut intuition and manual spreadsheets. So that was the last decade. And so where we focus kind of exclusively on digital transformation, right? Boardroom parties, are shifting, as we've all heard, and we have this massive opportunity to create value with data in new ways. So we enter the age of agentic transformation. And Boomi has that transformative power that's accessible to everybody. All right, so this is Boomi's sunrise diagram. It's nice because you can see that everything is in one platform. Very nice. And so we at Boomi, we have all the components needed for agentic success here, okay? So if I were to just kind of bring you through the pillars really quick, right above like platform architecture, you can see our integration and automation capabilities. We have clear data management to drive these systems. We also have API management to manage all the data that feeds into agents coming from APIs, web services, and other locations, okay? And then finally, we have AI agent management over here, where you can manage your agents either created in Boomi or elsewhere. All right, so I'm going to take a step back here. I want to talk about the industry a little bit, okay? So we talked about like applications that continued to proliferate, namely the modern data stack. And then that extended to SaaS applications, right? So for every application and web service, you're accessing 5 to 10 APIs. And that's a lot. That's a problem. So that's why we created, and developed the solution of API management. You have to have the gateways to control your security risks, to manage both observability and governance of your APIs. And the complexity will only increase as we introduce AI agents, right? And so for every workflow and automation that you have, let's say, a few agents in there, right? Like, imagine how large this number could be. Like, look on the right side. That's a mess. You still have the same security, observability, and governance issues that continue to exist. But here we're at Boomi, we've actually developed solutions to address that. So just to level set, like what do I mean when I'm talking about AI agents? So AI agents, they're autonomous software applications, right, that can execute on their own, or they could be semi-autonomous, where you can call them or invoke them within a workflow and they can execute on their own, okay? So think of these as like, very small, specific software applications that solve a very vertical problem. And agents use AI to achieve goals in natural language. They think, perceive, reason, and take action both in the physical world and digital world, such as placing orders, running 3D printers, right? All this is possible with AI agents. So AI agents can be useful and they can create data, create value with data, but specific to us, I want to look at the data and management and analysis piece here, okay? So 70 to 90% of AI projects fail because of poor data quality. That's the entire thing that we've been talking about today. And so Boomi not only has data management capabilities, but we also have agents that can help improve and enhance the quality of your data. So let's say your data management is in a good place. You want to think a bit more forward. So to empower agents and to allow you to automate your workflows, we've launched Boomi Agent Studio. And Boomi's been inside the agent game for over 10 years now. We've implemented AI recommendations in the platform 10 years ago, and over the last 2, we've been embedding generative AI agents in our platform known as Boomi AI agents in order to let our Boomi users automate all their tasks and workflows. So rather than just me talking about it, I have a video to show you that I'll walk you through, and this is a demo of our Agent Studio. All right, so this is an e-commerce example. E-commerce example for fulfillment, and we're going to use Boomi's AI-powered platform to transform a fulfillment example into an intelligent, self-adapting system. I wonder if it's going to play here. Oh, wow, that's nifty. All right, so it's playing now. I can see it moving, so I'll just walk you through here. So this is the customer journey. You see, you have marketing and ads, you have someone who placed the order, all the way down to service and customer support, right? So now we're on the platform. Let's say you get a shipment delay notification from UPS. You want to avoid excessive delays, right? You got to switch the carrier. So we see which process that invoke this. We're on our canvas. And again, what we're looking to do is to replace a manual step. We want to replace this manual step in order to avoid excessive delays. So in order to do that, we can go to Agent Garden. And it's quite easy, actually, to create an AI agent here. You can kind of key it in. What we want to do is we want to dynamically switch carriers, okay? So the goal was keyed in here. And we can also have the AI or the agent factor in some other considerations, such as carrier cost, transit time, and service reliability. So that's what they're going to do when they're going to trying to evaluate that switch, whether or not they should do that switch. And here you can also update customers if that switch has indeed been made. So that's an added step, right, where they get a notification, again, via email, SMS. These are all the data, integrations, and accesses, the API endpoints and systems that the AI needs in order to operate and execute on this task. So we're going through guardrails, security review, and we're testing the AI here. It works. And so when you're happy with it, you can deploy your agent. And what you have is your very own shipping agent, amongst other agents here. So it's that easy to create with Agent Studio. And so here we're going back to the integration canvas. And we're going to replace that manual step that we had, okay, with the AI agent we just created. And so essentially, we're making that, turning this manual task into an automated task. So there, it's embedded in a real workflow. So now we're going to Agent Control Tower. This is where all your governance and monitoring happens, okay? You see this is a very nice bubble chart. Let's say you have a rogue agent. We have an anomaly detector, and you can see that there's a sensor malfunction. So that's pretty useful, right? And so we're exiting out of that, and we're panning over all the AI agents that we have. So you can see that this one should be AWS Bedrock. So we're vendor agnostic, so it can be AWS Bedrock, and also be an internal, like AI that you've created. That's not a problem either. And going into the details, we can see that it's very similar to our shipping agent. Like, look at the tools here. It's pretty much the same, just showing you the details. And going to our compliance dashboard, let's say you have a non-performant, underperforming agent. What can you do? We're going to errors over here, and we can see that this SFDC order agent, high number of errors. Like, we need to fix that, right? So you can go into details, and you can actually disable the agent and take it offline so that you can implement a fix. Okay, so yeah, that's it. That's a taste. Hope you got a good taste of how easy it is to manage the agent lifecycle with Boomi. And so let's bring it all together, like why Boomi is uniquely positioned to help you be successful with AI. So we've given a lot of careful consideration. Like, first is universal governance. We encourage customers not just to prioritize guardrails and governance when things break, but throughout the entire process. Okay, so we give you full visibility and control. And with that built-in observability, your agents are registered, they're compliant, and they're audit ready. And second is powerful tools. Like, Boomi allows you to connect your agents to enterprise data, manage APIs, and integrations as well. So you're reusing what you've already built in the platform so that they're not isolated by their own, these agents, right? They're embedded in actual workflows, just like our shipping example there. We embed it into an actual workflow. And third is true freedom. So you can deploy any agent you want to automate any workflow that you want, with the flexibility of swapping models anytime. Like, unlike many hyperscalers, there is no vendor lock-in, so that gives you full control. And then finally, no code. So Agent Studio allows you to manage the entire agent lifecycle without needing to have deep AI expertise. Anyone can design, deploy, and govern AI agents with our simple and intuitive platform. And so I'm going to wrap it up here. And so this is why you need a platform, namely one platform for agentic transformation that handles the entire agent lifecycle, that builds and scales as you go, and is backed by the best agents with forward innovation capability. And so, thank you for having me. And if you want to talk about any components, including automated data pipelines or agent management, please drop by our booth over in the exhibition hall. You know where to find us. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions from the room? Okay, yes, absolutely.
Sorry, I have a very basic question. You did demo how the agent was set up, but when the agent was being set up, I didn't see any control test flags for you to justify that it went rogue. So you did show that it went rogue. I was just wondering, when during the process do you set up those flags? Oh,
okay. So because it's demo video, there were some parts that were a bit more stylized and glossed over. But if we recall that when we were setting it up, as part of the setup, there were guardrails and attributes, right? So after you set it up, there are guardrails that you can do. So safety is a big thing, right? AI safety. We don't want it giving wrong answers to our prospects or customers. We don't want it, essentially like being abused or being abusive, which sometimes, with models, it's understandable. So that safety feature is built into the guardrail, so you would be able to specify that there. And then prior to deployment, I know it was a bit quick, but before you deploy, you can actually test it. So maybe stress test it, maybe key in some, trigger words if you do know that this is a weakness of the AI or the particular model that you're working with. And then when you're happy with it, then you can deploy it. In the anomaly detector, that was when it was in production, and it was a separate AI actually, where I think it was an SFDC order processing. So it already captured, like the anomaly detector captured that there were a large number of server errors. So with that, like it may or may not have to do with something like what you're talking about, like safety, but it did have to do with like, was the AI performant, right? And so in that way, like that is already a baseline that there were errors, like a much higher baseline in comparison to the other agents, which had relatively few errors percentage-wise, right? And so that was what the anomaly detector would do, is that they would flag that for you and just show you, hey, in comparison to all your other models, like there are some that are more performant than others, right? Like some more specific and better utilized for use cases. So depending on who's designing it, who's looking at it, that's how we have these kind of safety features and governance features that built into the platform. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jeffrey. Everyone, please give him another round of applause. That was a great presentation. And we are actually going to take a break now, networking break. I will see all of you here at 4:25. We have 1 hour of workshops, very exciting workshops. So see you in about 25 minutes.